Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Najwa. I'm very happy you're here. So I learned something today. I'm gonna say partly from Fani Willis, who is doing an amazing job with the Georgia RICO case against Donald Trump and his associates. I'm gonna say partly because I watched this interview. I will tell you the full name of the interview in just a second. She doesn't talk about the case with Donald Trump in this interview, but if you want to see how much of a whip she is, I mean, she is a rocket ship. She is extremely intelligent, extremely devoted to her constituents. She is just wonderful. Take a look at it. It was from Atlanta News First. I want to say it was released just a couple days ago, and it's at least at the time of filming this, and it's entitled Georgia's Gitmo. Fulton County DA Fani Willis full interview with Atlanta News First. Okay, it's about 45 minutes long, 48 minutes long. And you'll find it there, and she just gives some ins and outs about some of the things that she's advocating for with her department. You know, she's wanting to see some changes that really need to be made in the justice system, the judicial system in Georgia and in Fulton County. But I learned something as far as legal jargon today, you know, and I really wanted to share it with you. She used the term incompetence, okay? And and I know what you say, incompetence. We know what incompetent means. It means like you don't know what you're talking about. It means that you're ignorant. It means that you're stupid, okay, right? No, that's what we generally believe. But in the legal sense, it means something a little bit different. She didn't break down what the meaning of incompetence was in this video, but it encouraged me and spurred me to go afterwards and do a little bit of research, because even though I'm not a lawyer, I do talk about some things on this channel that bleeds into the space of the law, and I've always kind of been interested in it, you know. My sister's in the military. I have a sister who's a police officer. I have family members like my uncle who was in the Army in the Vietnam War. I have an uncle who was in the Navy back in the 70s. And so there is this element of my life where there's lots of people in black and blue and things like that. And so I do get sometimes interested in things like the military and in law and you know, the judicial system and the justice system and things like that and where they bleed. So, and I definitely think having society be safer is really important. You know, honestly, I feel like if things were just a tiny bit different, I might have followed a calling of being in the law enforcement system. It's just I don't know, blood and bodies and stuff like that, it creeps me out. But some people, I know that they can deal with that, and they can keep the families and keep the people who need to be safe in mind. But ultimately, that's what it really comes back to for me. I feel like I take an interest in the law because I want to see people be safe. I want to see society be safer. And I've always had a huge appreciation for law enforcement because they help keep society safer, you know. Anyway, so take a listen to this. This is from Butcher, either Boucher, in the French way you would pronounce it, Butcher, but it's spelled Bucher, lawgroup.com, from an article entitled, What Does It Mean If a Criminal Defendant is Found Incompetent? And this was posted on January 12th, 2021. It says, unable to understand the nature of the charges against him or her. And in the pause there, in the context of what Fani Willis was talking about, again, Fani Willis didn't write this. This is the research, the independent research I did after this. But she was talking about how in Fulton County they will often have these defendants that they find incompetent, and as a result, the justice process gets backed up because there are some faults in the justice process in Fulton County, which she's trying to advocate to change. Which also involves, as she speaks on, wanting to have more people, you know, more hands on deck, that a lot of the judges, for example, are just overexerting themselves and have more on their plate than they can handle, that the buildings are old and dilapidated, and that they have files, backed up indictments, you know, thousands and like 20 thousands of backed up indictments since 2012 because they don't have enough resources and people to put their hands in, you know. So she goes into that. But she speaks about having incompetent defendants and that holding up the process, them not being able to meet with their lawyers and be able to competently defend their case, and et cetera, et cetera. So, unable to, from butcher, Booker, however you say it, unable to understand the nature of the charges against him or her, typically due to intellectual disability or psychosis, unable to make rational decisions or assist in his or her own defense, right? That puts it in a different light a little bit. I'm going to read that one last time, that last line. Typically due to intellectual disability or psychosis, unable to make rational decisions or assist in his or her own defense. Now, I'm going to relate this to something just to come out of what I've learned today for a moment to a found experience, to an actual experience myself. And that is being a content creator and interacting with trolls online. Sometimes I will interact with trolls online and I sense deep psychopathy. I sense that I'm talking to a person who, if they actually had the courage to come out of mom or dad's basement and go out into the real world, that they might commit heinous crimes, you know. And if I was in front of them, they might commit those crimes against me. You can just tell some trolls are really not there all the way. Like there is something deeper and bigger and darker and scarier going on. And I would say these people are incompetent, you know, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but you're speaking to them and they have no sense of their impact on others, or either they have no sense of it or they don't care. There is no moral direction in what they're doing. And even worse, pair that with mental illness. Even worse, pair that with a sort of intellectual inability to sort of kind of catch up and keep up with the kind of conversation or the threshold of the conversation or the situation at hand. That there's some sort of intellectual and mental deficiency paired with a psychopathy, that is completely scary. That is completely scary. So when I read this, I just thought that it was absolutely fascinating. Guys, keep yourself safe out there. But I thought that was interesting, guys. I want to know what you all think. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.